So there is not enough room here to get this all in the shop. Sort of. Well, there's one of my panels, and let's destroy them, or at least not so much destroy. Let's change something. So we're gonna make we're gonna remove this wire, insulated aluminium wire, and replace it with this tape, wider tape that is. You can see there are some magnets here, which is not ideal because well, it creates some resonance, of course, but well, since the foil is attached already, I cannot like put them behind here, which would work almost the same. I mean, now the foil is also closer to the magnets, which gives me the 2.5 dBs I needed actually. So not perfect, but yeah, it seems like I cannot get away with the tweeter with only the rubber magnets. At least I can, but then the base panel is a little bit too loud. It's not insane, but a little bit. It's not ideal to begin with, it's not well thought out. This foil is too thick, it's 40 microns. I got 30 microns foil, that would be better. Still a little bit on the thick side, but although a little bit on the thick side for the magnetic power I got, which is not much. With neodymium it will work perfectly fine. But so I'm gonna remove these wires, and they're tacked down with the 30NF and wash benzene. I'm not sure. I'm still not sure. I think naphtha, but I'm not sure. So I'm just gonna pour it over and have a smelly stuff. I could do this with paper, but paper disintegrate and then creates a mess. So I'm gonna like a little bit spread it around so it's everywhere a little bit. And then I'm gonna dump some extra on the ends, probably just out of frame, because it has more glue there, and I want to dissolve this glue as much as possible. That will make my life a little bit easier. So, as you can see, it begins to rub away the glue. So really it doesn't like this naphtha very much, which is good, because that was the whole point. I wish I had this in a spray bottle of some sort, although it might be getting dangerous, I don't know. But yeah, it's really smelly. So it's not a really nice job, but I got the panel as it is right now, so I might as well use it before I rip the foil. So after some glue removal, a little bit, it's more like rubbing glue. This is gonna fall, I'm pretty sure, and it happened to me several times already. It's because this table is not very stable. Ooh, it sounds... I'm gonna save this bulb. I'm gonna put it in here. Not sure what's in there, but more of this stuff. I did once a pair of timpani 1Ds, the same method. Just use this stuff. I think I used acetone, by the way, which works as well, but it evaporates even faster, I think. I could use MacP as well, I think. But that's some really smelly stuff. It's not cool to use inside. Oops. This is not cool to use inside either. Either. Someone said it depends on where you're from, UK or American. And apparently either is the English method and either is the American method. So I'll stick with either, because I tend to use it more often than either. So both are correct. Or wrong, I don't know. So this is not working all that well. Quite a lot of work. A conversion to foil is not that easy. So I hope the wires are a little bit soaked, so I might be able to rip one off. It always feels like you're maybe puncturing the foil, which I might. So I got two ends. Because the foil is so transparent, it looks like you ripped it. Which I hope I don't do. So I go slowly. Especially at the ends, where there is a lot of glue. Still need to be really careful that when saying that I might actually rip it, so then I will be pretty much screwed, because tensioning this foil used a rather large jig and a large inner tube of a tire or of a bike, which sprung a leak. So I'm not sure if I can find the same tube. So this is the whole coil and some glue. So let's see how light that actually is. Pretty sure it's not that light because, well, it's a lot of coil. It's like 23 meters or something of coil. $19.6 grams. If this was copper, that would be like 30 or 40 grams. 40 grams. Almost. A little bit less. So now I just have to clean it. Which is gonna be more of the same, but now there's no wire, so it should be easier. Now the annoying part. The part that really bothers me the most. 5mm wide tape. I'm sure you can maybe, well I'm not sure, but you could make a jig for this, I think. But it's quite annoying since it's self-adhesive and it has a backing that has to come off, so I don't know. Magnepound doesn't use self-adhesive stuff, I believe. They still use 30NF. I skipped the 30NF in this particular build because there is adhesive on this stuff and it's rated for not high temperatures but far higher than we ever get on this foil. So I start off with this side because that's the easy side. It's just straight through the connector, which is not visible because it's spray glue. So I remove some of the glue if I find a knife. If I find a knife, or I have to burn it off. It's another option, but a knife would be nicer. Maybe it's underneath the panel. Yes, there it is. So I scrape off some of the paint that's on there. The paint doesn't serve a purpose, by the way, it's just there from spraying the frame. But this is where I am gonna solder the lead to. So I'm gonna attach the foil here. Make a little bend. And I'm just gonna put the foil in between the magnets. Then I'll rub it in so it sticks there. Move all the way over here, remove the backing. I'll show you how I made the turn, but I will do it on the other side where the camera is. Now I put some tension on it. You can take quite some. And then position it at the spot I want. And I'm gonna tack it along a few times and then stick it on. Then, and this is quite annoying, I pick up my roll off the next bit, because it's back and forth, and making turns, so things get messy. I remove a piece of my backing, otherwise I'm dragging around a huge piece of paper. I'll show you on the other side how I make these bends. It's not like rocket science because they don't always look nice. Sometimes they do, this one does, but most often they don't. I'll do the same on this side. Tension it, position it, look where you cannot see this, but I position it in between the magnets, tack it down on a few spots. So now one of these thingies, a turn. So I remove this because it's annoying, and I'll strip it a little bit. Here I want to make the turn. And now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to position it here where I want. Somewhere around here. And then I just whoop. And it becomes a shape like this. This is a bit long one. I'm going to make them a little bit shorter because I did that on the other side as well. And now this becomes a mess, as you can see. Or maybe not, but it starts to tangle up. Maybe a shot from here would be nicer, because roll off some slack. It was funny when you explain things, it's because it's not like I've done this gazillion times. I did it 8 times. I did it once or twice, maybe a little bit more, but the quality of the slit foil becomes worse and worse, as we've noticed when I was slitting aluminum foil. Yeah, the knife has to go deeper and it becomes crappier and crappier. So this is 50 meters of foil and it's definitely the maximum. When you start a roll, it looks more crisp. I made this one a little bit too long, but that's one thing you cannot correct, this fold. Once you've made it, you're fine. It's no big deal. Doesn't change anything in impedance, yeah. Not measurable by me, at least. If it did, that would be a bummer. So now I have to move the wire over here. So I am going to cut off a piece that's more than long enough. And move it over here. Maybe do it on the foil or on the spacer. Oop. There you go. Now I'm gonna empty my phone again. So this is the connection side. I made the copper pads visible to attach it. And here's the other side, which looks a little bit more decent. You got the same thing with these. These are a bit harder. Well, at Magnepen they have some sort of stuff they put over all these connections because this will vibrate. Because the glue side is on the outer side right now, so encapsulate it in something, maybe 30NF, I don't know, but I'm not sure if it dries up thick enough. Would be nice because it's kind of dampening as well. You could add 30NF on this as well. I don't think it's really necessary, but if you want some more weight, you could. I mean, it doesn't come off by itself. The Magnepens have no glue, I think, on the foil itself. So there you rely on the 30NF. So we're gonna connect this. Oh, I thought I engaged my soldering iron, but apparently it was on already? I don't know. Let's wait for that to heat up. Well, I have no clue how it's pronounced, but it's flux for aluminium, and by the looks of it, it is some sort of acid. Slightly acidic, so it like etches a little bit the aluminium and as well shield it from oxygen. So you can solder it, because that's the thing, you can solder it, but the oxide layer prevents it from being soldered. So I need such a thing, but on the good side, this one. Q-tip. Add some of that stuff here. I usually like to use a little bit more to make like a bubble, because as I said, it has to shield it from oxidizing straight away. And I need to remove it here as well, because otherwise it will be etching away, which is not what I intended. So you can see maybe it bubbles slightly. Nah, it's like there's a lot of light, so it kind of swamps it. I use some regular solder with flux because, well, I don't mind. Lead as well. And what I'm gonna do, my tip is really dirty, that's because of this crap, but that's okay. I'm gonna put a lot of solder on there. Normally you would not solder like this, but because I can only like penetrate this stuff once, and after that there's not enough left to like prevent it from oxidizing. So I want a blob of solder attaching to the aluminum foil straight away. I do the same here. This stuff smells really bad. Okay. Now I'm gonna solder it to the copper here as well. This one doesn't look as nice, so I'm gonna attach or add some more of the stuff. Once more. Let it do its thing. Meanwhile, I'll clean off this one so it doesn't etch any further. You can see it's a perfectly fine joint. It does look like shit on camera as usual, but the soldering job actually never looks really nice on camera. Even the pros on the other channels, if they do it, it looks like a child done it. there we got some more tin on there. Or lead. These bottles can be bought on eBay. Really nice. You see, that's an enormous blob of solder on a piece of aluminium. So let's measure what we got. I believe it should be something around 3 ohms. 3.1, 3.2. .1, 3.2. That's exactly the same as the other panel, that's good. Well, 3.2 might be a little bit low for a normal amp, you think? But actually, if you measure the impedance, it could be a little bit higher. But mostly, there is no filter in there yet. So if you attach a coil of some sort, having a coil of a 0.5 ohms is not all that weird. So you will end up at around 4 ohmish, kind of. And if I want to pad the bass a little bit more compared to the tweeter, I even use a cheaper coil. Yes, efficiency goes down, power handling remains the same, so the maximum output you can get is still the same. Usually the panels are more the limit than power nowadays. Unless you use a tube amp or something, but I don't recommend using a tube amp for this. So yeah, that's a way to pad it without too much costs. It's even cheaper than an expensive coil, and you reap the benefits of having a slightly higher resistance. But even a high-end coil will be some sort of 0. something ohms, so any amp will handle the bass panel with ease, in impedance at least. So now the question is what I'm gonna do about this. Doing some sort of gluey thingy or just attach a piece of tape over it. But then you still have the problem that underneath this fold there is no glue. So it's not attached to the foil, only on the corners. So I think glue should be the option, but I have no clue. I have no glue. Which kind of glue? I guess 30NF comes to mind as maybe the best, and then attach a tape over it afterwards. I don't know. I don't mind for now. I'm just gonna try it, see what it does.